right. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We're excited to have you with us for this 45-minute webinar session. My name is Michael Millhouse. I'm co-founder and president of BridgePoint Technologies. I'll be your host today, and I'm pleased to be joined with my co-presenter, Caroline Appleby from Pax8. Pax8 is a trusted partner of BridgePoint Technologies and she's a recognized Microsoft 365 expert. Carolyn brings a wealth of experience, insight, and knowledge on, for how organizations can harness Copilot and drive real business results. So, we've been working closely with a lot of teams that are navigating this digital transformation. And, I've seen firsthand just kind of how the tools and especially Copilot can dramatically shift the productivity landscape. They say there are no shortcuts in life, but I can tell you with Copilot, there are definitely shortcuts to productivity. I'll be proof in the pudding for that. And we're going to walk through some of those examples today. So before I begin, just a couple real quick housekeeping notes. This session is being recorded and it will be available on our website. It'll probably take about a week before I think our production team gets that loaded up there. And then you're welcome to submit questions throughout the presentation. Use the QA button below. We'll address them as we go. And then we do have some time kind of set aside at the end as well for some other bigger examples. And then as a little thank you for sticking around and spending your time with us today, we might just have a few giveaways, at the end of the session. So be sure to stay with us. So we've got a lot to cover. So we're going to dive right in. Welcome, Caroline. We're happy to have you here. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You're going to drive for us. So take it away.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, I'm Caroline. Great to meet you all. This is my favorite thing is talking about Copilot because there's a lot to it and it's an exciting new product. So we have a few slides and then we'll demo a few things that you can kind of use on the daily with Copilot to kind of put it into practice, because I could talk at you all day, but until you actually see it, it's kind of one of those things where is it
Yeah, and I
really
can honestly say I'm going to kind of dive into because
Yeah.
before you go ripping on this, because we're going to have this kind of a little more interactive than probably most sessions. I know I was an early adopter of Copilot probably for about a year, and I've seen the most huge gains lately. I think the product is vastly improved, gotten way better. I'm really impressed where this thing is at. I'm super excited to see that it's come this way, because when I first got started, it was a little bit but it's come a long way. So I'm glad you're here to kind of walk us through some things, and I'll chime in with some random questions and things of my own, most likely. So go ahead.
Perfect.
Sorry
Yeah.
to take you off track, but
No, and as Mike mentioned, it's gotten a lot better and it will continue to get better. So, and it learns from you, learns from others. So that's really the goal. But kind of on the, grand scheme of things is what is Copilot? So it is truly an AI companion and it is meant to increase your daily productivity. And that's kind of what we'll demo later, is kind of showing how it actually does increase the productivity. And then it also becomes that personalized assistant for you. So what's kind of unique about Copilot versus like a Chat GPT or things like that is it's going to integrate with all of your Microsoft apps. So like Outlook, Teams, things like that. It's going to integrate within those, which helps increase the productivity of everything. Um,
and I know we'll probably talk a little bit too once we get into some of the apps that it's
yeah,
integrated, because I've noticed some differences across the board with that just personally as I go about my days, and kind of what works better in certain apps as well for Microsoft, because it seems to be the one that seems to be a little bit less exciting was Word. But anyway, I don't want to take you too far off. I think we talked about that a little bit, but
yeah,
I'll let you go ahead and dive into the layers here that we have. So
yeah.
go ahead.
Absolutely. So kind of to break it down pricing wise and structure wise. So Copilot Chat, which I would assume almost all of you have. So Copilot Chat's going to come with any Microsoft license, and it's just going to be the chat feature. So similar to what a Chat GPT does, it's just searching the web. It answers all your questions, things like that. But it's just the free chat version. On the flip side, Copilot for 365 is the one that integrates with all of your apps. And then also on the chat feature, which we'll show you guys a little bit later, it will also, you can toggle between work and web. So if you were to search something, you can search it just within your work or within the web, things like that. But that's why the chat one's free, comes with everything, and then the Microsoft Copilot one is $31 per user per month. But as Mike said, as I will continue to say, is it saves you so much time that the amount of time that you will save will offset that cost quite quickly, just based off of being able to use it for things and shortcuts and things like that. And then Copilot Studio would be something like if you had a chatbot on your website that you wanted potential customers to ask questions to, things like that. It's going to be a low code option that you're able to build out to kind of customize to your users and anyone that visits your website. And it's kind of a nice little tool as well on that. So that kind of makes sense for everyone, hopefully. Um, and then use cases. So obviously, as I said, the ability to chat and work in web, that's, you can search company resources and then also the web. And one thing that I always use the example of is I think we all have a SharePoint or OneDrive that's kind of like a black hole. It's never ending. And you're like, I want to know what the company policy is on dress code. So I'm going to search in Copilot, what is the company dress code for my company? Great. It's going to pull it up. I don't have to go spend 20 minutes trying to find something in SharePoint or OneDrive because I think we've all probably been there and taken way too much time trying to find something.
Usually somebody asks in our company and then it kind of goes through a couple different people and then it's like, here
Exactly.
you go,
Yeah.
Mike,
It's
and then
like,
here's
oh,
what it is.
I gotta ping this person. And they're like, oh, reach out to
Yeah.
whoever. And it's like, okay, I
Yep.
just wasted not just my time, but other people's times.
Yep.
So, super easy feature that allows you to search just within company or within the entire web. Um, and then same with documents and drafting. We'll kind of go over this a little bit later, but writing emails is probably the biggest thing that you'll be able to do in Outlook. So, if you don't want to write the email, if you want the email to sound more professional, more relaxed, things like that, Copilot's gonna be able to take all of that off your plate. So that's a huge thing. And then data analysis is one of the things that I think it is its strongest suit. Is if you're in a Word document and you open up, not a Word, an Excel document, and it's got, 1,000 different numbers in it. You're like, I don't have time to make a pivot table, or I don't know how to make a pivot table because I don't remember how to make a pivot table. I learned it at some point, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, let me Google how to make a pivot table and things like that. You can throw in Copilot and say, hey, Copilot, make this into a pivot table or a bar chart or anything like that. And it will automatically take that data, spit it out into exactly what you need. So, in the amount of time that it would have taken you to do that, you know, there's your time
Hey,
savings just on
hey,
that.
Caroline, I've got a question that kind of popped in. I'm going to just
Yeah.
interrupt you real fast because it's probably based on the previous slide. So, are the Copilot agents like prompt coach and writing coach and idea coach, career coach, learning coach, are they effective and included in the non-paying version?
They are not in the non-paying version. They are in the paid version, unfortunately, which I know is
Okay.
kind of a downside or a plus, whatever you wanna. But yeah, it'll coach you on how to write emails, things like that, but that is in the paid version, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay.
So,
Awesome. All right. I think
yeah.
we're good for now. You want to keep rolling?
Yeah. So just a few more use cases. Meeting presentations is probably the one that is the biggest that we won't demo today, but obviously happy to talk about in the future. If you do use Copilot, you can integrate it fully with your teams. So that's going to include meetings, follow-ups, anything like that. So if you record a meeting in Teams, obviously, it'll give you a transcript, but it will also give you follow-up items, a follow-up email, anything like that, so that if you're on back-to-back meetings all day and you're like, I don't remember what I talked about this morning with Adam or whatever, you can go back and say, Copilot, send me write me a follow-up email for this meeting I had earlier with Adam. Great, done. End of conversation. You don't have to go back, look through notes, anything like that. It also give you follow-up tasks and whoever you had the meeting with. So it'll give you those agenda items of, hey, this is what, you need to follow up on, this is what they need to follow up on, which is super helpful and definitely takes off a lot of that time. I personally use it in Teams probably the most. I use Teams every day, so it's one of those things where it's an easy add-on. It's an easy thing. You just have to remember, honestly, to record the meetings, and then once the meeting is recorded, and you can also ask it. You can create prompts and say, "Hey, what words did I use too much? Like what filler words, for example?" And kind of similar, going back to that question of how does that coaching work? That's really helpful to me, at least, of what filler words am I using too much, or what am I repeating, or things like that. And it will give you feedback on your presentation and things like that. So it's also a great tool for that. We use it as, sales reps. So if we can't, have role plays or things like that, it's, has the ability to do that all for us on the back end. So
Yeah, I'm afraid to ask it those questions after I'm in a meeting. It's
you
funny.
should be, because sometimes it's kind of
It'll
mean.
scold me and automatically write me up and it sends it to HR.
It's,
So, but
it's like you are
anyway.
actually terrible on this meeting. But it'll also learn from you as time goes on. So the first time it might be like, yeah, this was terrible. But then once it learns your cadences, things like that, it will learn what you do well, what you don't do well, and continue to give you places to improve. And then if you ask it, what did I do well? Because sometimes, we all need a little bit of positive reinforcement in life. It'll be like, oh, you did great at this or what have you. So super easy, but super easy to use as well. It's right in the Teams app. There's nothing you have to do besides record the meetings. So that's kind of a nice little side of things as well. So
Hey, I'm just kind of thinking about, because we have a lot of clients that are like a nonprofit. Is the pricing slightly different? Do you know if you're a nonprofit versus,
yes.
regular corporate
Yep, they do have
individual?
Copilot for nonprofit, and that is a
Okay.
little bit less expensive.
Okay.
They also have Copilot for government, and we
Okay.
are hopefully getting Copilot for education soon as well. So
Awesome.
pricing kind of differs based off of the sect, but for nonprofit, it is discounted. Obviously, it's not free like some nonprofit licenses, but it definitely is a discounted license, and it's a great tool to
Perfect.
kind of use and play around with. And kind of as Mike said too, is like in the beginning, it wasn't as built out. And I think it's also a tool that at first it takes a little bit of getting used to and like using, but once you get ingrained in it, then you're like, well, I can't imagine doing my workday without it. But at first, it's kind of like takes a couple weeks or a month to really get using it and kind of
Yeah, and I know in that free version though, for example, it's that kind of
Mhm.
Microsoft's way of giving you kind of a taste before they
Exactly.
want to get you addicted into something, right? So then it's always like that next step gets you to want more, so they seem to be dropping that thing, and obviously it pushed out with everything, and it kind of a lot of our clients came back saying, hey, this is in there now and our users see it, what's the next step? So that's kind of what kind of prompted us to kind of get to this point, because I know we're probably going to see more of this as the product continues to evolve. And
Mhm.
I don't know, it'd be great if I wish it was all free, because I know we have
Exactly.
to pay for it just like everybody else. But
Yeah, I
definitely
wish.
the productivity gains for the cost, in my opinion, is if you're busy going from meeting to meeting and you're back to back on stuff and you need to craft things or you need to be briefed on stuff, huge time saver. It's been huge for me. I don't think I'd be surviving without it at this point. So anyway,
Absolutely. Yeah,
all
absolutely.
right.
It's definitely one of those things, and they'll continue to kind of allow some of the cool features to be in the free version so that it kind of entices people, and then
Yeah,
it'll kick you out and be like, actually, you have to pay for it. And it's like, dang, I want to use that feature. So
yeah,
they're kind of dangling that carrot, and also improving it day by day as well. And as it'll also get better with, time and, as you use it more as well, it learns a lot from you as well, on that side of things. So, wanted to do a super quick demo of what it looks like in Outlook, and then we'll also kind of go over the chat feature of how to use it. Mike has a great real world experience he used this week, but we just want to go over a quick demo of here's some of the high level features in Outlook that can kind of save you some time in your day. So I will switch the screen share, maybe, if it wants to work. Did that work?
yeah. We're looking at a bunch of crazy emails from you right now.
Great, perfect. Exactly what we wanted.
All right. Hopefully you clean this up.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
No
yeah, you
panic
guys
email
can.
from me. He said you're good.
Yeah, I am in a demo tenant, so nothing crazy here. Hopefully. But biggest thing if you do have Copilot and you're like, kind of never seen this in my life, if you are not in the new version of Outlook, both on web and on desktop, it will not work. So I hated the new version for a while, to be totally honest. I just I'm very much,
It's been painful,
yeah,
and
in
I've
my
been on it for
it's
as long, when it first comes out, I'm the first one to flip the toggle and start going, and then everybody on the team starts yelling at me when I run into problems. But
yeah, and like
we're beyond that now. So
yeah, it's much better than it was when it first came out. But
yeah,
at first, I was like, "This is terrible. I can't use this." But if you do have Copilot currently, and you're like, "I've never seen the ability to do any of this," it's most likely because you're not in the new Outlook. So, web and on desktop, just make sure to hit the toggle to do that. Um, Once you're in here, you'll have a Copilot button right here. So it will pop up right on the side. Again, it will have that work and chat feature. So, or work and web feature. So you can chat in here as much as you want, or you can use the like website to chat, things like that. But kind of big things to use this for, and one of the things that I really find valuable is I'm looking at this email. It's got like, 10 messages to it, let's say. I don't have time to read this because I'm on back-to-back meetings and I'm about to go into a meeting. I can summarize this in 2 seconds. I'm going to click Summary by Copilot. It's going to give me 3 paragraphs of just, hey, here's the high level of what this email conversation was about. This could be from weeks ago. It could be from yesterday. Honestly, I don't remember what I ate for dinner, so it helps me because I can't keep things straight.
yeah. Hmm.
And this is definitely an easy way to do it. And then if you were to say ask Copilot, let's say, great, I want it to, okay, so I have this meeting, I have this email with Adam. When's my next meeting with Adam? Because I want to prepare for this because I have, here's his email chain. Um, I need to prepare, but I don't have time to prepare. None of us have time to prepare. We got other things to do. So it's gonna look, when's my next meeting with Adam? Maybe. It says, oh, I have no upcoming scheduled meetings. Oh, great. Then I can say, okay, based off this email chain, it looks like I should schedule a follow-up then, because this is another reason, another way to catch things that need to be followed up on, things like that of, I don't have any of this. And then they'll say, if you'd like to schedule a strategy session, great. He goes out of office. It's going to tell me because Adam works with me. He's actually out of office the first week of December. So let's not schedule it then. Let's work with our schedules based off my out of office, his out of office. It's going to pull that for all of us. And it will also reference the email that I am also talking about. So, if I can say, help me draft an agenda for the meeting with Adam. I don't want to create an agenda because, again, I don't have time to do that. It's going to pull exactly what our conversations have been about, just similar to like the summary of Copilot, and it's going to give me a strategy of what it thinks that the agenda should be about. This can be, you know, as you can, what's what I'm looking for? You can use this as much as you want of like, great, I'm going to copy and paste this, no questions asked. You can change it. It will also learn from how you want it to say things. So if I am more casual, things like that, it will start to learn from that and do things like that.
Yeah,
But
mine has gotten better because I've done this before. I've drafted an email,
yeah,
sent to my team, and they're just like, totally could tell it was like
ex
like that doesn't sound like Mike at all.
yeah, exactly. And
I got
it's
called out, which was fun. I was just kind of goofing. I wanted to be as rigid as it could be. So trying to up my professional game, you know. But
exactly. So this gives me a great agenda. I know how I'm going to go into this meeting. It also makes me look more put together, to be totally honest, of like, look at this great agenda I have for Adam. Um, and then it will say, would you like me to format this into an email draft to send to Adam? So great. And it will also prompt you with um, recommended things that you can ask it. You can obviously ask it whatever you would like to, but it'll say, oh yeah, please format this into an email draft. So it kind of learns as time goes on of what you are most likely going to ask next because so that again, just another thing that you don't have to do. So this just formed me an email. I'd love to get a strategy meeting on the calendar for you before you go out of office. And then it's going to send that proposed agenda as well. So and I'm going to say, actually, I'm going to propose a date and a time. Great. It's going to update that email for me right now. So I don't have to go in, I don't have to do anything. once this is done, I just paste it in, send the email off to Adam. He thinks I'm a lot smarter than I am, and then I'm a lot more put together. Great. Looks good on everyone. So gives me the proposed agenda. He knows what's coming up, and then I say, here are the times, or I can actually propose a specific time, for example. Knowing Adam's going to be out of office, things like that, you can kind of do things like that and learn from it, and it'll be able to pull anyone in your company's calendars that are public to you. So that's why I can see, oh, Adam's out of office this week, or I'm out of office, so that they know not to schedule on my calendar or others, and things like that. So definitely a great feature. So you can summarize the email, which is great just in general going into a meeting, and then it can also kind of prompt you to get ready for meetings and things like that, which is, super helpful. And then if we go to the kind of side of things of if you were to create a new email, maybe, um, I'm going to send this to whoever. You can, say, I actually want Copilot I want it to coach me or I want it to help me write the email. So similar to how there was the question earlier about coaching, this is where that feature is going to come in. So this is going to help you, this is going to suggest how to write emails better and give you feedback of, this can be grammar, conciseness, things like that. It'll give you suggestions and things like that, or you can draft the entire email for you. So if I were to say, Adam, we are excited. Let me do this. Let's do coaching. Yeah, Adam, we are excited to meet with you about your new project. Your new project. Wow, I can't type. The pressure's on. I have to
The
type.
pressure's on
It's
while
gonna
people are
say it's
watching.
strong like man.
Yeah. Yeah. And while you're typing that up, so, Violet wants to know if we can turn this thing on by default in my thing. So I'm constantly being coached. We're good. It's all
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
I need to be
You can
coached
turn
all
it
the
on by
time.
default, or you can just, use it on your own. But
Oh my goodness.
if someone's really bad at writing
Yeah.
emails, you can be
Oh,
like, hey.
well, mine are kind of short sometimes,
Yeah.
so
Um,
huge. Yeah, but it's good.
so if I say that and I say, I actually want, oh, this needs to be, can you work, please? Please let us know when you can meet next. Are you gonna work? Maybe.
Come on, work. We're
I
hoping
was
the
gonna
demo
say
gods
it's
are
in a
here.
demo tenant, so
Yeah.
it's always a little bit weird. So this will give you tone, reader sentiment, and clarity. And sometimes the tone for me is like, sometimes I'm too excited and I use 20 exclamation marks because I think I'm texting my friends. And then other times it's kind of a little bit, I'm in a mood. So
I
it's
know
like, man, I
exactly what you
sound
mean.
kind of like a jerk. So it kind of depends on the day.
There you go.
But it'll suggest things like, hey, you know what? It's best to open with a greeting. So like, people, I feel like sometimes when you come into the workforce and, came to Pax8 right out of college, um, there's certain niceties, things like that, that people just don't always know, depending on where, how they learned that as, growing up. So simple as like hello or hi, that makes a big difference and it looks nicer. So it kind of gives you those ideas. Versus if I were to send this to Mike and he'd be like, Caroline, this is a terrible email. And then we go back and forth, have to get on a call. He tells me I'm terrible at writing emails. At least Copilot will tell me how to fix it before I even send it to Mike so that I don't get in trouble for my, terrible writing. Um, and the biggest thing to me is clarity. I find the clarity aspect of things of it recommending how to be more clear because sometimes, you kind of word vomit in an email and it's, you just keep going and it's like, okay, this is
Yeah, it's like there's a
redundant.
point buried in here somewhere, right?
Exactly. It's like, what's the actual question?
Yeah.
Like, you just said about 10 different things and I need just the clarity of it. So
Yeah.
this is a great option of the coaching side of things. And then also on the flip side, if you were to want it to draft it for you, if this will work. Nope, we're gonna leave. Start a new email. I apologize. I'm in a demo tenant, so that's a little bit finicky sometimes, but I'm gonna click on I want Copilot to draft this, and and you can say it'll give you suggested prompts. So I want try an option below. I want a meeting with Adam, and it's gonna write the email for me. Perfect. So it says great. Wanted to touch base about this meeting. And I don't like how this sentence works. I can say, actually, I want to make that sentence shorter. I don't like the wording of it, things like that. It's going to come up with suggestions, things like that. And then that took me what, 2 seconds to do? Great.
Mhm.
Email's done, no questions asked, send it off to Adam. I didn't have to go through, other emails, things like that. It pulled, what's already in my email inbox, and then also, can things can do things like that. So, and then also if I said, I need this, jeez, I need this to be more friendly, or I need it to be more serious, it's going to update from there as well. And it will, again, as Mike said, it'll take on your tone as time goes on. It learns from you, things like that, versus, when it first comes out, it does kind of sound like AI and very robotic of like, hello.
Yeah.
But it'll learn
Just
from
be
you throughout
curious.
time,
Yeah.
how you like to say things, and then you can make it more formal, less formal, depending on if you're emailing a CEO or if you're emailing your friend. So you can kind of do things like that, make it shorter, make it longer, anything like that.
Awesome.
So just some recommendations in Outlook, but just biggest kind of thing, make sure you're in the new version. I also got very frustrated and asked my team a very dumb question of why I couldn't access anything because I'm not.
Well,
It's like, I don't get it. Why is mine not working? Well, that's on me.
another one of those secret things that Microsoft wants
Yeah,
to keep you moving to the
exactly.
new version so they can get rid of the old stuff. And
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
kind
And you
of,
will get used to the new version, I
yeah.
promise. If at first you're like, I hate this Outlook, I was the same way. It does get better. It's just one of those things. And then on the flip side, so obviously wanted to go over just a little bit of, what it looks like in Outlook, just some easy use cases, things like that. We also wanted to jump over here and kind of go through the chat feature. Um, Mike has a great kind of real world experience that he used it for this week. So I'll drive and I'll let him talk.
Yeah, yeah. So just the other day, I always press for time. We were interviewing a candidate, and it was like 7:30 in the morning Central Time. I've got a lot of things kind of going on. So to help me prepare for that, of course, you get on. It's like about 7:20. I knew I had this interview. I was able to pull in the candidate's resume into Copilot, and mind you, I did this on my phone. I didn't even have my laptop up. So the integration with the mobile devices is phenomenal. So I pulled in the resume. It summarized the candidate's capabilities. So I don't know if, can you pull that up? We'll go ahead and
Yeah.
let's see what,
Yeah. So
and
I
it,
just use the little plus button. I already threw it in here, but you can add any
yeah.
content you want. So
And
this takes 2 seconds so that Mike didn't have to
yeah, it was actually
step.
absolutely fantastic. Let's see, is your demo tenant able to pull what we want to pull? But yeah, you got it in there.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if
So I
I
kind of see a lot of the key points, some of the things. So then I went the next step and
still going.
still cranking here. We'll give it a second. Sometimes it wants to give me quite a bit of information. So really kind of look and see this person's relevant experience, what they were doing, and I could kind of see it at a glance, things that would match up well with us. Started to kind of trigger in my brain. So then I'm like, hey, what was I just asked, hey, can you go ahead and go ahead, go do my next prompt. I wanted to see
Yeah.
what just a couple of quick questions that I could ask that would be more behavioral oriented type questions that I could ask this person during the interview. Now, mind you, I'm on, and I don't even think I told this to Ray on my team, but I was on my phone on a Zoom call with this person and I'm firing in a few questions with this just because we're tag teaming on this interview, so I could do that, and it gave me a couple of quick questions that I could ask this person. I said, give me a few that I could fire off, and it really made them relatable back to the experience that was kind of built into that person's resume, so I can kind of see how they actually handled those types of situations. So it worked out well. I asked a couple problem solving ones, just some relevant client ones. And and I'm not super technical by nature. I know enough to be dangerous. My background as a programmer, not so much as a network person. This individual is an individual who would be joining our help desk. So we went ahead and said, hey, give me like 3 technical questions, you know, it went ahead and spit out three technical questions. It made me sound like a genius on this call, and I felt I kind of came screaming into this. Unfortunately, a little bit less prepared, but leveraging the tools, leveraging Copilot, I was able to kind of pull a couple things together to say, hey, based on these quick questions, I was able to ask. And then Ray was on a call. He's our service manager. He was able to kind of make sure that those vetted out and were great answers. And as we tag team during this interview, so it worked out well. Huge time
Really.
saver. Just being able to pull that into the app itself, run it through. I was amazed at how smooth the integration was. I didn't have to jump through a bunch of hoops with trying to get this thing to come up because it was right there and on my device. So I was very excited. So
Yeah,
super helpful.
absolutely. And to be able to do it on your phone is huge because you're coming into
Yeah, if
work,
you're
it's
that,
easy.
I think it worked extremely well on my phone. I was, like I said, hugely impressed with that part of it alone. So, but that was
Absolutely.
one that we kind of whipped up and did pretty quick just to kind of get us. And subsequently, this individual did very well in the interview, and is going to be starting with us on Monday. So
Clearly
we're
it
excited to
worked.
have her join the team. So went through a bunch of questions, and I kind of just sat there as I was going through that, and we were able to kind of drive down. And then the cool part is I can take that chat history now, and I can build out and say, hey, can you build like a quick rubric? Because I've got to talk to several candidates. I want to ask the same questions. It'll kick those back out. So then I go into the next ones. I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and ask these similar questions around kind of some of the BridgePoint operations and what we need and what we're looking for in an individual. So it was pretty wild to kind of build a scorecard with this. So that then we have other individuals. If we pass these people down, they can use that to help rate that we're all rating on the same scale based on the questions that were asked of the candidate. So just to
Exactly.
try to help improve the recruiting process. So it's just something that I kind of fell into this one just out of being shorthanded on time. So
And it'll give you obviously different sections on the rubric and things like that, which is great. And if you want it formatted to a printable document, because somebody likes to they prefer to handwrite, that's fine. It can format it into that, and you can print it, do what have you, with it.
yeah.
But it's a
And
it's a great tool, and it saved you a ton of time versus going into an interview blind and not looking prepared, and then the person's like, what the heck? Because they're interviewing you, you're interviewing them. It's a mutually beneficial thing. And if I've gone into interviews where it's like, why do they know nothing about me? So it's like
yeah.
this took 2 seconds and it makes you look way more prepared for the interview, which is great, and makes you feel like they
So
actually
we
are
we've
interested.
got a question at Fluent. So are all of your prompts saved for future reference?
You can save them.
Yeah.
You can save them. If you want to, you can also create ones that will, do things internally. So my friends and I at work will play around with like different prompts and things to get it to do different things, and then we'll save those as time goes on. It will also learn what you are most likely to ask next as well. So on this, I've done this a few times. It knows exactly what I'm going to ask
And then
next because I've done it.
and I haven't tried this, but are we able to categorize those or organize those prompts at all? Have they put in that?
As
Maybe
of
they
right
put.
now, no.
Okay.
I use a OneNote, honestly, to be totally honest. Of I keep different prompts that have worked, things that I've tried, things like that. And I just play around with it, but it is a feature that quite a lot of people are asking for. It's a good way to categorize and kind
I'm sure something like that will come through. Put a feature request in. Some
of
folks over at
yeah,
Microsoft.
I'll start,
Tell them, hey, it's good feedback. So
And it will also save your previous conversations here as well. So if you're
yeah,
like, oh, I needed to know about F3 licenses the other day because I needed to know about F3 licenses.
yeah. I
And
don't
I
know how you
forgot.
keep track of licensing, to be honest with
Yeah,
you. It's
exactly. It's like,
that universe is.
it'll keep track of that, so you're able to go back and look at any other previous chats as well. If your computer crashed, it's happened to me. I think it's happened to all of us. It'll save that within here as well. So you can do that. And this is where you can toggle between the work and the web. So the web is going to be the one that everyone has right now that's free. You wouldn't have this toggle option. You would just have the web. This is just going to search the web like Google, ChatGPT, anything like that. It's just going to search that. But then for work, this is going to search anything internal that we are doing. So, and it will also come up with, recommendations based off of what I have going on my calendar as well. and things like that. So just like what I
And
said with like within Teams, this is going to say, hey, we want to recap this meeting that you had yesterday. So it kind of pulls everything in, ties everything in quite nicely. So it works well. It communicates with itself. As Mike kind of alluded to, Word is probably the least built out of all of them, which you would think
yeah,
would
I
be
don't know
the
why you would think it would, because for example, I had a document, maybe I needed to go out and run it somewhere else to figure out, but I tried to just convert a font and match fonts, and it was struggling a little bit, and maybe I needed to ask a better question in there or get more refined. But I was just trying to get a document to, as I'm cutting and pasting and dropping things in, I'm like, okay, now give me the whole fonts, and then I'm sure you guys probably could have not. There's probably like, don't be lazy and just highlight the whole document and change it yourself. That's probably what will kick back to me next. So I'm like, I just wanted to tell it to
Exactly.
do it for me. So
Exactly. I will say it is very good in PowerPoint. If you were to ask it, like, make me a PowerPoint about turtles, it'll just, populate a PowerPoint about turtles. Facts, pictures, whole nine yards, which is great. So if you have a PowerPoint coming up and you're like, I don't have time to make it pretty, or,
mhm.
I need it to be branded with our specific branding for our company, you can say, hey, I need it to be branded. It's going to pull the branding from SharePoint or OneDrive or what have you. So that, again, you don't have to go looking for that. It's going to take that out of it and then brand it specifically for your company and things like that.
Awesome. Good deal.
Good deal.
I'm trying to think if I had any other crazy things well, hey, I see it says try GPT-5 up in the corner, and
Yes.
I know it's running. I think the basic right now, it's still running on 4. You can toggle over. When I
Yes.
toggle over, I think it just,
Yeah, you just turn it on or turn it off.
yeah, but
Yeah.
then when I come back in though, it defaults back to the other.
Yes.
But I
So
think it's
GPT-5 is the new version and it's still kind of in beta and testing. So there's some things where I'm like, why did you give me that? That's a terrible answer.
yeah, it's interesting to run the two against each other. I've kind of
Yeah,
just
you
that
can
just
ask it the same question and play around with it and it'll give you different things and
to,
you can talk back to it too and be like, that's a terrible answer. Don't ever tell me that again.
yeah.
I've yelled at it. It's like one
Yeah,
of those things where
I find myself when I'm asking for things or having to do stuff, I'm like, hey, please write me. I'm like,
exactly.
I'm putting in like asking a favor. It's crazy.
Please help me. And I'm over here like, fix it, figure it out. Like,
Yeah. So
so
I got a question coming in too. So is there a way to prevent employees from uploading Word or Excel files so that sensitive data is not inadvertently uploaded to the AI engine?
yes. So yes, there is mostly on the web version, that's the biggest one to make sure that that's not obviously if you upload it to work, it's already in here. But on the web version, you can put in precautions and things like that of people not being able to upload documents or put company information or anything like that. And then on the work side, there's also ways to lock down certain SharePoint sites. So if I don't want to be able to search what is my social security number, probably, he probably doesn't want me to have a social security number.
Mhm.
Maybe he does. I'm going to go open up a credit card. But you can block that so that people aren't able to search salaries, social security numbers, things like that. So there's ways to kind of lock down based off of who's using it, what they're using it for, things like that. So yes, you can get extremely granular within that to make sure that everyone's kind of protected on that side as well.
Perfect. And then I've got another one here. So you mentioned integrating project management tasks. Does Copilot integrate to third-party tools?
As of right now, no, which is unfortunate. So if you have Dynamics as like a CRM or anything like that, it integrates with that. But as right now, it does not have a great integration with third-party tools, which I know is kind of a bummer. But
Yeah.
it is on the roadmap and it is a very asked feature.
They just have to, do they still have Microsoft Project? I don't even use that.
Yeah, they renamed
I
it
don't, I don't
to
know.
Planner.
Oh, it's all Planner now? I
Yeah,
like
it's the
Planner.
same thing.
Planner's good. It's good times.
Yeah, it's same thing. But yeah, anything like that, it will integrate with any Microsoft app, OneNote, Planner, Project, what have you, Power BI, anything you
Okay.
use. If it's in the Microsoft ecosystem, Copilot will integrate with it on that side of
Perfect.
things. So
All right.
good
All
deal.
right. I think is that kind of that's it for the questions that I see
Yeah,
coming through the queue.
perfect. Awesome. I will switch back to
Switching back to
maybe
slide deck.
I can.
Thanks for driving, by the way.
Absolutely.
I'm usually the one who has to drive everybody around here to places. This is great. If you driving on this, and I'm just the
Uh,
passenger in the back seat.
just trying to do it. Why does
Gotta
this?
love it.
Well, you guys can just see my
Is it a
little screen.
drag? I still see you. It's coming though.
Okay.
It's all technology. It's all systems, right?
Yeah, you're just gonna have to see the PowerPoint because it doesn't want to
Yeah.
full screen.
I don't know, however you want to hit this thing. Can you hit the neck, like the
Yeah. Oh yeah, I
screen
can go
button
next. You're
or
good.
play or whatever you want to do? Yeah. So we'll just do this. We're good. We roll
Yeah.
with technical issues, right? That's what we do. But so anyway, I just want to put a kind of a shameless plug out here. Those of you who've been kind of following me on Facebook and following BridgePoint on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn. Today, I'm honored to be a part of like an international team. There's about 33 of us that worked to kind of as contributing authors in a book. So I've written a chapter in this book as well. So chapter 10 is one of mine. This book actually released on Amazon today. So just want to kind of share that and say thank you so much for all of you for kind of following along with that journey with me. So, and I'm honored. Thanks. I want to also thank my business partners here, Laura and John, who help support me and kind of on this endeavor as well. So there's a link there if you want to go mess with it. And I think Violet, you can throw it in the chat if anybody wants to kind of mess around on the Amazon. I think she probably already put it up there. And then I did mention early on we had some giveaways, right? So hey, I think we're going to do some giveaways for we get a couple copies of the book. So it's actually, it is here and it's live and it's there. So I think we took everybody who was able to stick around here. Go ahead. You have like a fun way to do this little.
Yes.
Hey, and if you're BridgePoint employee, if any of my guys are watching this, you might get excluded. I'll buy you lunch or something. They don't want to read this book by me. They listen to me every day. So. All right, she sent it over. Take a look over in Teams. You want to click that link?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let me.
Oh, yeah. Some people will read. That's awesome. All right.
Exciting.
Exciting stuff. So
let's see here. Perfect. Okay. Good on that.
is it going? Oh, look at. Oh, you even put the.
Look at that.
You guys are too funny. I had no idea.
It does. So yesterday I had Christmas music, so we've spared you all from the
Yeah,
Christmas
the Christmas music isn't there, thankfully. How funny is this? So, all right. All right. So Jackie, for sure. Awesome. Yeah, we'll get together. We'll get this delivered out to you. We're doing another one, right?
Yeah, we'll do two. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Awesome.
we'll write down these
All right.
names.
Hang tight, everyone. The suspense is killing me. Fun little thing in here. So, all right. It looks like we got, Tamara Kilty. All right, we'll get that over to you as well, Tamara. Thank you so much for paying attention. Hey, can we do one more? I know we all said we're doing like two books before, but if you want to do three, I'll do three books. Let her rip. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll do it. I'll do three. And then I've got something else too we'll throw in there. So.
Oh, that was close.
Oh. All right, Sophia Trent. So we got three books. We got notes on that. We'll make sure we get your addresses to make sure we can get them out if we don't have those on file. But we will be reaching out. The other thing, I've got these. I'm actually wearing them. So these are some lovely Pax8 socks. They're lucky Pax8 socks. Spin that wheel. Let's go. If somebody wants
They're
some
great.
socks, they're
I have
very
about 50
comfortable.
pairs
I
of them.
promise. I'm not giving you the ones that are on my stinky feet. So you're good.
Awesome.
All right, we've got a winner. Perfect. All right, Lena, we will get
Perfect.
these over to you as well. So
Got a lucky winner of some packet
lucky
socks, but
winners.
not the smelly ones.
Yeah, not the smelly ones. And thank you everyone for joining us today. If you want, I think we had one more slide thing. If you ever want to reach out, we had a QR code. If you want to, kind of schedule, it says discovery call, but just more of like, hey, I got questions. I want to get on the phone with you guys. Feel free to scan it. Can you throw it back up there, Caroline, real quick? Sorry, I know it's going to be small in here, but we'll get it.
Yep.
Jump to the next one. So I'm jumping ahead of your thing because I know we got a survey. Oh, Violet's throwing a survey. She says we need feedback. We want to know how good or bad we did today. So if you don't mind doing that quick survey as well, that'll kind of help us as we plan for the next ones. If there's certain topics you all want to see, throw something in there you can suggest, do a write-in. This was, I said, a little bit more of a productivity dive. We can do some deeper dives on these things if you want to get more into kind of some of the stuff we're doing. And then if you want to go ahead and scan that QR code and schedule a call with us, we'd be happy to sit down and have a conversation if there's something we can do to help you be more productive. So that's kind of all I've got at this point. So
damn. Awesome. timed
it
that
for you?
pretty well. We did really well. That
Awesome.
was
Well, thank you
45 minutes.
for doing this. We end, I like to start on time, end on time. We're doing this whole EOS journey and they're really sticklers on that. And, they're watching all the time. So, but thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you, Caroline, for being on here with us. Thanks, Violet, for helping coordinate and do the production on the back end, and appreciate all of your time here today.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.